Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and yes, today we have our Candle Day guide video. I think I'm gonna break it up into smaller segments this year, instead of doing one huge long 1 hour rundown video. So in this video, we'll just go over the basic info and tips and tricks and that kind of stuff, as well as the whole rundown of all the candles that are being released for Candle Day. So that's kind of what makes Candle Day a little bit more fun or special than just a generic candle sale or just some kind of clearance, is because they actually pour like 1 million candles for Candle Day, and they release them in different waves. So that's what makes Candle Day a lot more fun, at least from my standpoint. So I will go through the entire rundown in this video, and then I'll do a few more follow-up segments maybe later on in the week following up to Candle Day. So yes, let's get right into it. So Candle Day indeed is the big sale at Bath & Body Works. It's like the lowest price before coupons at Bath & Body Works, outside of 75% off candles at SAS. So usually they have like the $10 off sale, or $12.95 or $13.95 or $14.95 for the candles, but the speculated price this year is going to be $9.95. And then if you have any coupons, you can use coupons on top of that. Online, I believe, usually requires a code, and then you have to pay shipping. So just keep that in mind in terms of the pricing. So I usually go in store for my Candle Day purchases. So yeah, that's why Candle Day is such an event, is because it's like the lowest price, but also because so many candles come out. The dates for this year are supposed to be this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Friday is supposed to be for rewards members only. So if you have the app that has the rewards program, make sure you sign up for the account if you want to shop on Friday. I don't know how strictly they're going to enforce that, but that's what the speculation is currently. And then Saturday and Sunday is just open to the general public. Yes, most stores open super early. I think my store usually opens at 5 a.m. Usually what happens is there's usually, depending on, obviously your mileage will vary depending on how populated your city is, but generally for me, like all the stores I go to normally has a line, usually like 30 minutes to maybe even an hour ahead of when they open. They just line up in front of the store at like, let's say 4 a.m. before a 5 a.m. opening. And then the line gets quite long by 5 a.m. Because they're not doing like the COVID protocols with like limiting the amount of people going in there. Usually they just let all people go in at once. But then the downside of that is usually it's a huge madhouse with people with a ton of like crates of candles. You can't really move, and it's so crowded that it's just really not a great experience in terms of shopping. So what usually happens is that after like the first hour rush goes away, then like by hour 2, 3, 4, 5, like for the rest of the morning, it's actually pretty light until it like starts hitting into the nighttime and afternoon again, or maybe lunchtime too. So just, I guess, gauge whether or not you want to come in early versus not. The one upside of coming in early is if they have any like leftover candles. So let's say you're looking for like maybe some leftover summer candles, or if you're really like wanting fall candles, there's not a whole lot of fall candles left in the store right now. And if they have any spring or summer like past season ones that they happen to box up, they might bring those out for Candle Day as well. So if you're looking for like kind of like more of the like the older hidden gems kind of stuff, then you would want to go early to scope that out first. Also, they do release a number of like kind of like hype candle collections, but normally in the years past, they haven't really sold out as quickly as like some other years have had. So it just kind of depends. You can always usually get them online anyways. And like, in my opinion, like most of the candles that I've like looked for Candle Day usually kind of linger around for a while, so it's not really that big of a deal anymore. But it's just, if you really want to, if there's a candle that you're like gunning for actual Candle Day, like a Candle Day exclusive release, then it might be worth waking up early and standing in line for, but it's obviously your call. And then I think they also open a little bit earlier on Saturday, and then Sunday, I'm not sure if they open early or not, but as for the stores around my area, I think even Saturday was not like a 5 a.m. for me. I think it was like an 8 a.m. or something. So not even that early. So yes, let's see, anything else? There's usually a max limit of like 15 per customer, but in my experience in the past, the stores almost never abide by that. Like, you can just do separate transactions and call it a day. If you have coupons, like the paper coupons, you can use those in store on top of the $9.95 promo pricing. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Sometimes they'll have a tote that you can buy for like $2. Sometimes they give it for free. It just depends, but it's usually like a reusable tote where you can like stack 2 crates on it. And I think that's it for the in-store experience. And then as for online, sometimes there'll be an app member like preview like the night before, and like you can shop the night before, so it would be Thursday night, and then it once again like reopens to like everybody at 6 a.m. But I think this time around, because Friday is a app member only day, I think maybe just the entirety of Friday might just be an app member exclusive. So they might not even do an early preview on Thursday, because technically the early preview is all day Friday for app members, and then the actual general public will be Saturday and Sunday, and then obviously it's like 6 a.m. Eastern time is when the site switches over for the Saturday. So if you're an app member, and if you're probably watching me on this channel, you probably are an app member, then I would assume it would just start at 6 a.m. on Friday morning, and there won't be like a Thursday preview for it. But once again, this is all speculating, so don't like totally quote me on that, but just what I'm thinking from experience. Online, there's usually as of last year, there was a waiting room because they get bombarded with so much traffic and they don't want the site to crash. So usually you get put into a virtual queue, and then the virtual queue will happen. You might have to wait however long, and then you get finally into the system, and then you go. Online exclusives sometimes happen, but it's not guaranteed. I think last year there was really nothing of interest online that was different from what's in stores. There's an online exclusive collection now that's already been available for a few weeks now with the snowflakes and cashmere and Winter White Woods. Those are an online exclusive collection, so you won't find that in stores. Sometimes they'll like just drop some random like surprise online exclusives drop, but we haven't heard anything of that yet. But that's worth checking the website for at 6 a.m. if you wake up early. Usually, like if I'm standing in line like at checkout, or if the store hasn't opened yet, then I'll like browse the phone while I'm standing in line in the store or something like that. And that's usually how I do it. And that concludes the online portion as well. And then, so now let us get into the like meat of the video, which is going to be the entire rundown of the candles that are being released for Candle Day. This is kind of like what us like, you know, hardcore candle enthusiasts are really into, because this is where you get like Candle Day exclusives and Candle Day like special drops that sometimes, if they're like really in high demand, they might like sell, like they might only show up for Candle Day, and because they don't make as many of these as they do the other ones, they'll just get wiped out and be done with it, and you won't see them for the rest of the season. But that's just really, it's not that common or that often that happens. Like your FOMO brain might think that, but usually they like kind of linger around forever. I remember like Blueberry Marshmallow Bar was like #1 on my list last year, and I was driving around everywhere looking for it, and I didn't find it. But of course that was like available well, like way into the spring, and like maybe even into SAS. So it was like, I was like, it wasn't even worth sweating for. But there's just sometimes a few candles might slip through the cracks. Like Toasted Pistachio and Vanilla was like super popular last year, but that came back this year, so it wasn't that big of a deal either. So it's just kind of, we always like make it out to be something like crazy, but it's usually like ends up like coming back out again, or being enough, or just go to a different store and find it. So there's that. In addition to everything I'm running down here, all the candles you see online and in your stores as of today are available for $9.95 for purchase on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then obviously stuff like Fresh Balsam, Mahogany Teakwood, Champagne Toast, believe it or not, actually does sell down, and those sell out by the last day. I remember there was one year I went into a store on the third day or the second day or whatever, and they were like, yeah, we're out of all the seasonal like Fresh Balsams and all the tree fragrances. So if you're a casual consumer who's looking to buy those type of seasonal fragrances and you haven't bought them already, then you once again, you might want to come in early for that, because Fresh Balsam and those type of like fragrances tend to sell out pretty early, believe it or not. So there's that. Okay, let's go into the rundown. So the thing with the rundown that's important to know is that they release in priorities or waves. And so there's, I think, was it 7 priorities this time around? There's a whole crap load of candles. I think there's 7 priorities, and usually the stores, it hasn't been officially, I don't think it's officially come out, and I haven't seen it yet, but I kind of did a cross-referencing of what the priority colors and labels were from last year, and took that same priority listing in color order and applied it to the candles this year. So the priorities that I have listed for you today might not necessarily be the exact final priority, because there's a random orange label in here that was not in the listing last year, that I'm not quite sure where it will go, but I kind of put it where I think it would go. But in any case, as the candles come into shipment, there's labels on the outside of the boxes that are like yellow and purple and like light blue and pink and all this kind of stuff, and those correspond to when the candles are supposed to set out on the floor. So the stores are supposed to sell down of certain certain like collections of candles before putting out the next one. So the issue with this is that if you're somebody who's looking for a last priority candle, you might have to like gauge it and like come in for another time or come in for the second day or the third day, because they have to like sell down to the first 6 priorities before you can get to wave number 7. And so what I often have to do is I'll get like my early priority candles on the first day in the morning, and then I'll have to come in later in the day on Friday and see if any of the later priorities have come out, and then once again do the same thing on Sunday, go in Sunday morning, Sunday night, see if the later priorities have come out, and then, you know, you just sort of rinse and repeat. So it's kind of annoying because you can't buy all the candles in one go, because they're technically supposed to sell down all the early priorities before they get to the later priorities. So like if there's a candle that I want from priority number 7, I have to like kind of like roughly time it and gauge it as to like when the store is selling out of these collections and see which collections are being put out, and then kind of like roughly gauge when that collection is gonna come out. I do this because I'm a collector and I'm an enthusiast, and because I kind of want it for the $9.95 price. But a lot of times the later priorities candles will like, they're meant to replenish the candles after Candle Day has sold out, so their like walls aren't empty and barren, and so they're meant to replenish the candles in stock. So usually the later priority candles stick around for a while, even after Candle Day is done with, and you can kind of get it then. It just won't be at $9.95 pricing. It will be whatever the promotional price is like the weeks after Candle Day, but it's just like the thrill of the hunt and the excitement of getting those later priority candles for $9.95 is kind of what makes it fun. So it's kind of the hunt there too. But obviously you don't have to be that hardcore, because a lot of times those later priority candles do still like show up in abundance and stay on the shelves for like a week or 2, or even longer than that, like the Blueberry Marshmallow Bar, for months afterwards. So if you can't really get it during this weekend, I really wouldn't like freak out either. But just because I'm a candle nerd and that's what I like doing, I'll probably go around and try and see if I can get all the priorities for $9.95 within the 3 days. It is a 3-day event, so I'm hoping they will eventually get down to priority number 7. It just depends on your store's volume and how much people are buying, and just the timing and being there at the right place at the right time. So, and it also is smart on BBW's part, because it gets us to go into the store multiple times, and every time you step foot in the store, you're going to be like inclined to want to buy something, especially the whole issue of like having to wait in line just to check to see if they have a later priority candle. So it's like, I've already sunk like 30 minutes waiting in line, I might as well buy something while I'm at the store. So they get you there. They're very smart in the way they kind of do these waves, but they do them so they have enough candles to trickle through for replenishment through the 3 days, so they don't just put everything out in one go and they sell out in the first day and then they have nothing for the second and third day. So that's why it makes sense from a like fulfillment and like stocking type of scenario. But yes, so we will go through all the candles right now, and you should see screens of what I'm talking about right here. So we have 7 priorities. Usually the first 2 priorities that are called early priorities are going to be the ones that are like set for Candle Day. So they should be there on Friday at the beginning of the day. They usually are called for that floor set. And then when we get into the mid priorities, that's kind of like, okay, if the first 2 priorities have sold out, then you'll probably see the mid ones. And there's usually a good chance you'll see the mid priority candles within those 3 days. It's the priorities like 6 and 7 that are a little bit harder to come by, because you just don't know if they'll have sold down enough to be able for them to put it out for you to buy. So you just have to time that. So all the stuff that's marked early priority, as you see on this slide, is going to be stuff that's available at the beginning of the day on Friday and online as well. So the first collection we have is the All I Want for Christmas. This is just kind of like your usual like holiday fragrances they kind of like put out for Candle Day. Super cute packaging. This is an early priority, so it should be out here for Friday. Vanilla Balsam, Strawberry Snowflakes, and Cranberry Pear Bellini. I'm just not going to go into these fragrances too much because been there, done that. Most of them are repackages. We have Mira Mimosa as well, and then finally we have the Perfect Christmas. Some of the images were not available at the time of putting together the slide, so that's why you see placeholders there. Nothing to really talk about there. White Barn Core is an early priority, so should be there right off the bat. It's Paris Cafe. There's a lot of us who love Paris Cafe. It's like the strongest, like roastiest, boldest coffee fragrance. It's like a stronger, more intense version of freshly brewed coffee from the fall time. and it just, for whatever reason, seems to just like trickle in through Candle Day, so you should be able to get that if you're looking for that, because that doesn't seem to be available throughout the whole year, and it's usually just like a kind of Candle Day release, so you kind of want to get it there. There's a whole crap load of early priority body care candles. These usually get set right away as well on their own table. And we have Dahlia, which is new in 3-wick form. It's the body care that was out, was it 1 or 2 years ago, and it's also out this year again, and it's the first time it's getting a 3-wick candle, so I'll be very interested in that. Sweet Pea Saltwater Breeze is back. Unfortunately, they neutered the beautiful wraparound label and just put it in this small little like chintzy square, which isn't great, but Saltwater Breeze, I love that one too. That came out earlier this year in body care, and this is the second time it's out as a candle. Very clean and fresh and kind of like salty ocean air water type of feel to it that I really enjoy, so I'm excited to see that one again. In the Stars and an updated label. Butterfly is back. Ocean for Men, don't even bother with that one. It was like so friggin' unscented the first time it came out for Candle Day, so just, yeah, trash. Continuing on, we have Into the Night and Japanese Cherry Blossom and 1,000 Wishes. We've seen those a lot of times, so no need to really talk about that. And lastly, Pure Wonder and the updated packaging is supposed to come out for that body care collection as well. That was in the tote for Black Friday, if you didn't already see that. There's another collection that's called Four Seasons, the early priority, so it should be set hopefully for Friday. Obviously, stuff is subject to change, so don't quote me or don't take my word for it if this isn't actually set out as an early priority on day one. Like, I'm sorry. But as of the listing, it should be. So we have something really fun. It's like 4 seasons. So we have the Perfect Autumn, which is going to be the Perfect Autumn that's usually comes out for the fall time now. It was like originally called Spice, Cranberry, and Clove, and they switched it to Perfect Autumn. We already know what that smells like. Perfect Spring was a fragrance that was out before. I really didn't care for it. It's one of those like weird like fruity floral hairspray fragrances. We have the Perfect Summer, which traditionally has been Suntan. Suntan did not come out this year, I don't believe, and it's an amazing fragrance from the Slatkin & Co. days, so highly recommend that. I just have plenty of Suntan in my collection that I don't need it, but I would assume it's the Perfect Summer that we've seen as Suntan years prior. And there's lastly one called the Perfect Winter. This is the one like new one that's never been out as the Perfect Winter, so we don't know if it's going to be a repackage or if it's a new fragrance, but the one I'm most intrigued for because I hope it's something new, or if it's a repackage, give us something good like Winter Mint and Spruce or Yuletide or just like Snow Day. Oh my god, if it was one of those three, it's like, girl, scoop it up. But watch it be just like something boring ass, like just plain old winter, I'd be so upset. But that was the 4 Seasons collection that was marked as an early priority. There's a very boring collection called Spring Hit Refresh, which is a early priority. These are just repackages of like best-selling spring fragrances that we don't care about. Tiki Beach, White Tea and Sage, Mahogany Coconut, Black Teakwood, which is indeed the same as Ocean Driftwood and Mahogany Teakwood, and then lastly Fresh Cut Lilacs. Nothing to really talk about there. Another early priority collection called Supper Club. So this is kind of like a drinks collection. Black Tie, been there, done that. Sweet Whiskey was just out in that like that cut glass collection that we just had out for fall. Raspberry Mimosa is out again, and Peach Bellini. Total snooze fest, don't need to talk about that. Sweet Tooth, this one's one that I'm interested in and is also supposed to be early priority, so hopefully I'll be gunning for this right away on Friday morning. Blueberry Lemon Sour, we've already seen the notes on that, and the notes indicate that it's a repackage of Blueberry Sugar and Sugar Lemonade, the mashup candle. Actually, really enjoyed that. The two separately, I'm just kind of meh with, but the two together was so juicy. I loved it, so I'd definitely be, that's definitely on my wish list. Candy Emporium, I think, was supposed to be like a buttermint type of fragrance, so we'll have to see what that ends up being. Caramel Drizzle has been out before, so we don't care about that. Lavender Marshmallow, that one used to be kind of elusive, but now it comes out a little bit more, and it's so similar to Pink Lavender and Espresso that it's kind of like, okay, been there, done that. But Lavender Marshmallow is still a pretty juicy, awesome lavender kind of confectionery marshmallow fragrance. It's still a juicy one, so if you're looking for Lavender Marshmallow, that one doesn't come out all the time, so check that one out. It's basically like Pink Lavender and Espresso minus the smidge of whatever coffee is in that candle. Moving on, we have a early priority spring seasonal collection. They tend to just have like a White Barn core collection out for the Candle Day time frame. Nothing interesting here whatsoever. They're like an ombre glass jar that's in watermelon lemonade, pink apple punch, pineapple mango, eucalyptus rain, island margarita, and bergamot waters. Also, Laundry Day. That one is kind of like few and far between now. I think that was also possibly a Candle Day release last year. And then Cinnamon Spiced Vanilla. Don't need any of those. Some rando collection called Liability Glass, which is just a hodgepodge of existing packaging candles that we've had previous that are just being re-released again. But a lot of these already exist in a previous collection for Candle Day, or like in another collection for Candle Day. So I don't understand why this, why is Pink Apple Punch out again in this jar when it was literally in the collection before this? And Tiki Beach was already out. Mahogany Coconut from the Neutrals collection that we had earlier in the year. Sweater Weather from last year's core packaging, and then Bergamot Waters as well. And I think that Bergamot Waters might have been a last year's Candle Day. I don't know if this is they had overstock and they're just sending it out to the store, so you may or may not see this, or I don't know if they're making new pours in these jars for these 5 random fragrances. I really don't understand that. We're going into a still early priority, so this wasn't a yellow label, but it was a teal label. But I think teal, at least last year on the priority listing, was supposed to be set out for the first day. So expect to see Candy Cane Colada, which is a new fragrance, as well as Cosmopolitan. I don't know what those smell like, because those are supposedly new, that's definitely on my wish list. And then there's a random orange label priority, which was not on the listing last year, so I'm not exactly sure where it's gonna go, but it's also part of the White Elephant collection that we just saw, so I would assume it would just come as the wave after those first 2 sell down. But typically I think it's just only yellow and teal that come out for day 1, and then it's usually after that, once you sell out of those, then you're allowed to put the other ones. So it's annoying that this third top shelf elf might possibly not be out with the first 2 White Elephant ones. It might have to be something that comes out after they've sold down the first 2, which is annoying because I can't get it all in one go and I have to come back for top shelf elf. Super annoying. So I don't really know. I don't have the official paperwork for the priority waves yet, so I don't know if this one's supposed to be set with the other 2 or if it's supposed to be out after the other 2 have sold out. So super whack, but we don't know what top shelf elf is. Moving on, we're in mid-priority now, so this is after yellow and teal has sold down, so these are not guaranteed to necessarily come out on the first day. Usually this is for later in the day or day 2 when they replenish at night when they reopen for the next day, so you may or may not see these on the first day, more likely the second day and beyond. So we have All Is Calm Quilts, which is going to be linen sheets, which we've had before, Cozy Cashmere, and then Cuddle Weather. That was not out on the regular release this year, so if you enjoyed Cuddle Weather last year and were bummed not to see it, this could be out as a later priority candle. We have All Is Calm Scenes, which are kind of cool, but all repackages. Vanilla Birch, Afternoon Rainfall. I can't believe that nasty ass candle from last year. That was a Candle Day release last year, and for whatever reason, I guess of all the ones in that collection, that one did the best that they would release. I don't even know, but that one was gross, but it's back. Palo Santo, and then Lavender Vanilla in that collection as well. We have another mid-priority candle collection that's called Bought for Sale Wallpaper. Totally boring snooze fest. We've seen labels like these before. Island Margarita, Ocean Driftwood, Cactus Blossom, Black Cherry Merlot, and Champagne Toast. More bestsellers that the casuals like buying, but we don't care about. Some more new pours of the Eucalyptus Spearmint Aromatherapy. Bought for Sale Aromatherapy is what that collection is. That's another later priority one that they can release after they sell down. But the thing is, I think those might be in stores right now, so I don't even know. Moving on, we have, so this is the collection that I'm most looking forward to, but of course this is a later priority, so this is can't be put out until 1 through 5 have been sold down, so kind of annoying. This one's the one I'm gonna have to be sweating about going back into the store and girl, is priority 6 out yet? Give it to me right now. So this is the one that I'm gonna be going back into the store searching for, and it's Hot Pink Cocoa, which I think was supposed to be a raspberry and cocoa fragrance. We saw notes on those. Caramel Frappuccino is supposed to be new, but I don't know if that's gonna be a repackage. It could be white caramel cold brew, aka whipped coffee. If it was caramel brulee latte, which is pretty much just pumpkin caramel latte / maple cinnamon pancake / creme caramel. That'd be kind of cool too. Or if it's just some kind of generic salted caramel fragrance, who knows? We don't know yet. Brioche French Toast sounds amazing. Definitely want that. And then lastly, White Chocolate Macadamia is in that collection as well, so super stoked for that as well. So that is probably the one I'm looking forward to the most, but that is a later priority. After that has sold out, then they already have a Valentine's Day collection. This is crazy that Valentine's Day is included as part of Candle Day. Usually this is like for early spring, so it's just weird that they already have Valentine's Day candles. I'm not sure if these will actually come out or not, but it was listed in the paperwork. So we have strawberry pound cake in a new packaging, and then bubbly rosé. I think this one had like a heart on it, and it was like /pink/red. Both repeat fragrances that we don't care about, but like I guess they figure like if we need to restock candles, like Valentine's Day is like the next holiday, like let's put those out there so people can buy that $9.95 and then gift it for, you know, whatever. So there's that. And then we're going to more last priority stuff. There's Palo Santo and the Soulcation Affirmations collection. Repackaged, don't care about that. Vanilla Coconut Surf is the one new one from this collection. So interested to see what that one smells like. I hope it's not just that boring ass vanilla coconut we've had before. And then we have Endless Weekend repackaged, don't care about that. And lastly, the very last collection that is supposed to come out if they've sold out of everything prior to this is going to be the Soulcation Destinations collection, which has 3 new fragrances, which I'm excited about. Blue Icelandic Waters. We've seen this type of like basket weave, like type of texture before, but they like slapped like a new label on top of that. So Blue Icelandic Waters I think is new. Sedona Sandstone I think was used to be a hand soap fragrance, but first time in candle format, so interesting to see how that smells. And then lastly we have Bali Rainforest. Hopefully that's just like not a repackage of some other tropical fragrance we've had before, but we will see. And I think that is it for the entire Candle Day rundown. So it's all those candles plus whatever's in stores right now and online right now as well. Our fairy game for $9.95. So I'm gunning for those later priority candles. I really want that Brioche French Toast collection. It's what I'm looking forward to the most. And I just kind of want to see what the perfect winter is supposed to smell like. And then there's that Sweet Tooth collection is kind of fun and juicy too. So there's a ton of stuff that's slated for first priority. So there should be enough to keep us entertained on the first day. So there's that. And then there's still like enough juicy stuff in the later priorities that will have me scratching my itch to go back out and see if I can find those later priorities. And that is it. So that's it for this video. Pretty long, but I'll do the rundown of the candles that have come out newly for this winter season. So not the Candle Day stuff, but the stuff that's been out prior to this in another video, like my post-burn reviews, basically, like a usual rundown video that I do in the other years, but I just kind of wanted to break it up so it wasn't so long. So that'll be in another segment. So if you're looking for that, then stay tuned for that in another video. That's pretty much it. Let me know what's on your wish list from this new Candle Day collection. Are you interested in any of the later priority ones? Let me know all your thoughts down below. Good luck shopping Candle Day. Hope you get everything you want. And just, you know, the crowds can be a little intense. The lines are pretty intense too. So if you're wanting to avoid that, just come like 1 or 2 hours later after the crazy initial rush has come by, and it's usually super low-key and fine. So you don't have to be a crazy person who wakes up at 5 a.m. or like 4 a.m. like I do. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, so happy Candle Day shopping, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.